Now you're wondering why I'm doing this. Well, that's because I am making sure my video is not lagging for the third time. Um, yeah. So I was having some lag issues. If there's some more lag issues, I apologize. But look, I don't think there is. Ooh, yeah, no lag issues. So, yeah, the mothership's mother site. I can't always remember how it's called more or less, but basically the official Wizards of the Coast Magic site finally ended that countdown on Thursday, I believe, and it revealed it, and there's some lag. Really, really, I don't know why I'm lagging right now. Anyway, okay, now it's gone. It's probably gonna go in and out. I think it might just be the fact I'm on the site I'm on right now, which blows because is where I'm getting my information for the cards I'm about to talk about today. Anywho, though, so after it was revealed, they did a really cool. I gotta give them props. This is a really cool way to do early spoilers without going into spoiler season. So you go to the site and you click on it, and it reveals this map of Innistrad. You got 3 locations. You got the Stitcher's Lab. You got Markov Manor, Soren's home, and you got a cathedral. Not necessarily the cathedral, but a cathedral. A cathedral. So then you go in and you click on it, and it says explore, and you explore, and you get these great big pictures. You get one of that red card with Nahiri just blowing up Markov Manor. And you get you see the stained glass window from Endless Ranks of the Undead, and you get basically the Stitcher's Lab, and you see these images flashing. One of them shows clearly a fallen angel. It is guaranteed now the angels are the villains in this set, or at least the antagonists for the first set, and something will happen. Something about the moon, I think, is causing it, because one of the new cards that was spoiled, which I'll get to, is Tamio's Journal, which has flavor text saying that there's more to Avacyn's madness. Avacyn has gone batshit, apparently, which is cool. So all the angels are being corrupted. And I found that out. I realized after hearing someone else say that is that the title Shadows over Innistrad is the angels flying over Innistrad, and that's pretty fucking cool. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's get to... Actually, let's talk about the card I used for the image right here. And by the way, you'll notice I've got a... What's this? I got the chops again. It was a choice. Honestly, I usually do that every year when the comic book movie season starts to roll around. I just get the Wolverine look going a little bit. And I forgot to do it for Deadpool, honestly. And Deadpool, save for X-Men Apocalypse, was the only one that really made sense to have the mutton chops, because, you know, Wolverine, X-Men, all that. But, you know, whatever. And just, I mean, my lips are matching my words, but anytime I'm moving, there's like just this little bit of lag now and then. It's really kind of annoying. But I digress. So let's talk about first off the card that I actually put attached to the image for spoilers. That's Aberrant. Oh God, Aberrant. There we go. Aberrant Researcher. And can y'all recognize this? Oh, wow. Y'all, I'm not Southern, but can you guys recognize this card? I think you can. That's There's Delver of Secrets. Well, not anymore. Now he's a Aberrant Researcher. And he has the exact same card effect as Delver of Secrets. Whereas Delver of Secrets, which I actually have a couple, I don't use them, but I have a couple, was only 1 costing mana for a 1/1, which turned into the 3/2. This costs 4 mana, 1 blue, 3 generic, and the exact same effect. You transform them if you put an instant or sorcery in your graveyard when you mill during your upkeep, which turns them into a 5/4 flyer. So it turns them into perfect form. And I like it's like metamorphosis is a process, and then the final pages of the experiment were blank. The investigators found an abandoned on the desk in the researcher's lab, open, the pages flipping in the wind from a shattered window. So he goes from I'm a bug man to I am the pure fly now. When you think about it, there really is Jeff Goldblum's process in The Fly. He's like, okay, I'm going to experiment. Oh, I'm part fly. Darn it. But maybe that's what I wanted. And now I embrace the fly. And honestly, I can see where this card. I don't think it's going to replace Delver, because Delver's is a one drop, for God's sake, that you can easily get off in turn 1 or turn 2. And yeah, between Scry and stuff. I mean, with Scry still around in certain formats, and I think still around a little bit in, I think 1 or 2 cards actually scried in Shadows or in Battle for Zendikar block. Can't be certain on that. I mean, I could be certain if I check, but I don't want to bother doing that right now. It's possible you could get this off on the same turn, but or next turn, and then boom. Then again, you got mono ramp too, so I could see a scenario where you get this guy out in turn 2, or maybe turn 3 easy. Then next turn, you just 5/4 swinging for flying, just stick him. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a solid card. Then the Brain in the Jar is a legit card. Pay a generic tap, charge counter on Brain in the Jar. Then you may cast an instant sorcery, convert mana cost equal to the number of charge counters from your hand without paying its mana cost. Then you remove X charge counters by paying 3, and you scry for X. So scry exists all around, and it costs 2 generic mana to play. I see potential in that. I definitely can, especially if you're running like a spell-heavy deck, but you need to be running a spell-heavy deck for this card. It's difficult. Not impossible, but not... It's a build-around card is the problem. I definitely can see Commander using it a lot, or Commander using it. You don't get any flavor text on that in terms of the story. And, excuse me. Big Bygone Bishop, 3 generic, 1 white, 2/3 spirit cleric, flying. Whenever you cast a creature spell with convert mana cost of 3 or less, investigate, which means put a clue counter or clue artifact token into play, pay 2 generic, and draw a card. And that's a ramp card if I've ever seen a ramp card. Yeah. That's a somewhat build around card, but in a low mana curb deck with low mana creatures, which a lot of people want to get. A lot of people want those big heavy hitters in there, but a lot of people also want smaller stuff so they can play it early and have stuff to block and protect themselves. So that's a card winner right there, at least in my book. Then you have Pick the Brain. Now, I forgot some of the art in this set was very realistic looking. This doesn't look like just flat out art. This looks like you superimposed someone's face in there, artistically rendered it to make it look like it's part of the actual art. And yeah, I mean, it looks great. I love it. Pick the Brain. You see this guy with a freaking magnifying glass. I'm going to see all the ghosts in your brain right now, dude. Target opponent reveals his hand. You choose a non-land card from it and exile that card. Cost 2 generic, 1 black, and then Delirium if you have 4 more card types. Basically, repeat that process through deck, graveyard, library, all that. So then we go to one of my personal favorites when I saw it, because I'm like, this is a beat card if I ever saw one. It's Heir of Falkenrath, another flip card that was revealed. It's a vampire, 2/1 for 2, 1 generic, 1 black. Discard a card, transform Heir of Falkenrath. Activate this only activate this once each turn, which means you can do a lot with that, and it turns into a 3/2 flyer. Fine, 3/2 flyer, fine. And turns into a vampire berserker, too. I love the fact that it's like, despite our bloodlust, we, among vampires, has been a long belief that the urge to feed must be balanced with a poison ability. You see this nice, perfect little woman, or a nice, serene, noble woman. And then she Falkenrath have a relinquish the presence of an ability, losing themselves completely to the all-consuming thirst. It's like, yes. Screw it, I'm hungry. Let's just kill bitches. But what I love about this card is this card's dangerous. This card is turned... Here, think of it like this. First off, it's a madness enabler. It's a very easy madness enabler, too. You can discard a card at any time, once per turn, mind you, but at any time. It's great late game for that. So you could just say, okay, I'm going to play... Let's say it's late game, you got 6 mana out in the field right now. You play this, you discard your Madness card, transform her into a 3/2, play the Madness cost, get the Madness effect, or get the Madness creature. Or, and this is the more key one, you don't transform her, you have her there, and you let her sit for a turn. And see if anyone's bold enough to try to... just turn 2. Turn 2. Play her, she's there, she's a bear. Solid, bears are fine. but someone tries to get in there with like maybe a flyer, like a 2/2 flyer, and they can't do it because you're like, go ahead, do it. Oh, sorry. It's a very good card. I'll be honest. If I have this card and I don't have any good rares or mythics in hand, I would be very tempted to go into black with this card. Now, black's my least favorite color to use. I need to use it in conjunction with other stuff for me to really enjoy using it, and usually that means 3 or more colors. I'm not very fond of dual-colored decks using black, but I have a couple. So I'm a big fan of the Heir of Falconwrath. And now, moving on, we have Incorrigible Youths, which is a 3 generic, 2 red, so 5 mana. Vampire... Is it Vampire... What is it, Vampire? Oh, come on. Now the site's lagging. So much lag today. Okay, it's just the Vampire. It has haste, 4/3, but it has Madness for 2 generic, 1 red. And as you all know, Madness, when you discard it, you can pay the Madness cost instead to cast it. But only if you discard it. And there's your honestly, there's your combo right there. You can... Turn 5, basically. You don't have to play this. You can instead play Heir of Falconwrath. You can discard this, pay it for the 3, have Heir of the Night on the battlefield as a blocker, and then swing in for a 4/3. There's your combo right there. That's a good, good conjunction Vampire synergy. Then we have Drafts, and I like the flavor text on this. To be young again from Olivia Voltaire, and you see these like just little kids eating this guy. Then they've spoiled some mythics. This I wasn't actually expecting, but they're clearly not story-driven mythics. That's why, we're not going to get to probably the werewolf until actual spoiler season starts on the mothership. But they're mythics that are tied to their respective locations in the map. You got the Cathedral with the Relentless Dead, and you got the Stitcher's Lab for Drolf's Masterpiece. Which means we'll probably get one more mythic for Soren's or Markov Manor. Just a question of what mythic we get. So let's start with the Drolf's Masterpiece, and this one I already like a lot. Now it's a very reminiscent of a card that I have. I can't remember to pronounce it. It's from Conflux. It's a 7/7, 3 black, 1 colorless at the time. Or excuse me, 2 black, 1 color. So it's a 7 for 3. But if you choose a player and it gets a -1/-1 for every card in that opponent's hand. This is very similar. It's a 5 converted mana cost, 2 blue, 3 generic, flying, 7/7. Drolf's Masterpiece gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. Now, this has an upside which makes it extremely dangerous in the late game for anyone who's running Madness cards. You pay 3. Or you pay 4. 3 generic, 1 blue. Discard 3 cards and return this creature from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So it comes out tapped. It's already there. Sure, you can figure out stuff to untap it. There's ways to do that. Discarding 3 cards to do that. First off, you're getting rid of most of your hand doing that. So he comes out not almost perfectly fine, probably. If it's late game, which is where you'd use this effect, you'll probably already have about 7 to 8 mana just for lands. Not including any creatures or mana-producing cards you have. So let's say if you use mana ramp, which a lot of people do, you've probably got maybe upwards of between 9 to 11 mana at most. 4, that don't mean anything. And you're using, and we have no idea how many Madness cards are in this set right now. Not to mention the next set, which I'm assuming Madness will appear in the next set as well, Eldritch Moon. That's dangerous. You get enough mana to do that. Even with just 3 to 4 mana, you can be. And there's Madness costs that are low enough that you can utilize that effectively. This card is a beast, I think. This card is going to see play. This card is going to be dangerous. There's decks going to be working with it. Or it's going to be one of those cards that looks amazing and just doesn't play well, unfortunately. Who knows? I have a lot of faith in this card. I like this card a lot, but I'm also a big blue fan. Not a big zombie fan, believe it or not, but I can definitely find things I like about zombies. And if I get this card, and the next card I'm about to talk about, the other mythic, if I ever pull this card or find this card, I will probably be remaking my zombie deck. I don't have one at the moment because it just wasn't playing well, but I will definitely rethink the zombie deck. Now, speaking of zombies, going into Relentless Dead. Now, it's a bear. It's 2 black, 2/2. It's got menace, meaning it can't be blocked by more than 2. But it needs to be blocked by 2 creatures or more when it attacks. Now, when a Relentless Dead dies, you may pay 1 black. If you do, return it to its owner's hand. Or, when Relentless Dead dies, you may pay X. If you do, return another target zombie card with concurrent mana cost X from graveyard to the battlefield. Now, I looked at... Now, both are good abilities. You can cost a recursion with this guy. If you got... Well, it's not a legendary, so you could have 2 right there, or you could have a couple on field and do some wacky hijinks with that. But the real thing is that... What's the best way to put it? I looked at one of the rulings, and I don't know if I still gotta get confirmation from an actual judge at the my personal judge who I liked a lot. His name is Mr. P. Cool guy. I gotta get confirmation of this, but I believe you can use both abilities in conjunction. Both are when it dies, meaning that they're both effects that happen. You can activate when it dies. So I'm pretty certain you can use both effects, meaning you can use recursion and then double recursion. It's recursion times 2. That's pretty sweet. There's a lot of hijinks and shenanigans that can happen with that. That will be scary. Be very, very scary. As he's like, okay, so I'm going to bring him back. Oh, and I bring this. What's this? Oh, my Stitcher's Masterpiece. I happen to have 8 mana late game. He's going to die. I bring him back without even having to discard. I think I'm reaching on that one just a little bit, but who knows? But then again, late game, no, late game, I could see it possible. And then the 2 new ones that actually got spoiled recently today. Declaration in Stone. It costs 1 generic, 1 white. Exile target creature and all other creatures its controller controls with the same name as that creature. That player investigates for each non-token creature exiled this way. A fantastic removal card. 1, you could exile your own useless thing that's not going to... Perfect way to get rid of, like, say, a Wall of Resurgence. Which I believe, if I'm remembering that correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's either the Wall of Revenant or Wall of Resurgence. I think it might be Revenant, but point being, it's a 0/4 defender that lets you draw a card and it costs 2. So I was like, okay, draw, block for a little bit. It's not serving any other purpose than to block. I'm going to Declaration of Stone it, exile it. In fact, multiple times, draw, exile, clue, draw. Perfect way to just utilize, perfect way to get rid of bad creatures you don't want is to make them relevant again. So, and then as I saw also, it's a great move for your opponent. They have to actually work to get that draw ability. And if you're exiling a bunch of tokens, which this would actually be a nightmare for one of my decks if someone's using multiple of them, because one of my decks uses a lot of tokens. It's a Jund deck, it's a Devour deck, which means it focuses a lot on tokens, which means if someone uses this against the tokens, I got a big problem on my hand. But they don't get the clue counter. They don't get any benefit from it. They just lose all their tokens. Again, it's a great removal spell for 2 mana. And I love the flavor text because the image is Sorin overlooking the devastation at Markov Manor. Vampires are melded to the wall, literally like combined with the stone. And the message was clear to Sorin. Nahiri had paid a visit to Markov Manor, or paid Markov Manor a visit. Nahiri's pissed. I'm looking forward to seeing what this Nahiri is going to look like. Because I'm really under the belief that she is she's now a red-white planeswalker. I really believe she's angry. She's pissed. She's not evil, but she's vindictive. And she's emotional. All of that combined with her normal white points to a white-red angry Nahiri. And that's going to be cool because I think a lot of people, I believe, have been hankering and clamoring for a red-white planeswalker for a while, ever since Ajani Vengeance, which is considered one of the best planeswalkers ever. But Jace is considered the best. The original Elspeth's right up there. I'm just now thinking. Original Gideon's up there. And Ajani Vengeance is right up there. Other than that, oh, and Liliana, the Liliana of the Veil, I believe, was it? She's considered one. Those are considered up in the top 5 of best planeswalkers of all time right now. Yeah, and Elspeth's Night Sun's Champion's pretty good too. But yeah, I think it's just great. It's a knockout in terms of flavor, story elements. I like it. Shows that the Wizard really is sticking to that showing pivotal events on card scenario, and this is a pivotal event, obviously. And then the last one, Tamio's Journal. 5 generic mana, 5 mana of any color. Artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you investigate. Meaning at the beginning of upkeep, you're going to be putting a clue counter continuously. But you can sacrifice 3 clue counters by tapping this card, search your library for a card, and put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. And of course, entry 434. There is more to Absence Madness. And it has to do with the moon. Something's going on with the moon, I think. Now, I'm going to go this route for a little bit. Bear with me. Emrakul is the Eldrazi of corruption. Emrakul is not on Innistrad. Is not on Zendikar. Now it's pretty obvious that she's not in this first set because they would be marketing her for this set. They would. But I don't think they'd bring her into. I really don't think she's in Innistrad. That's the thing. I don't think she's on Innistrad because if she is on Innistrad, you gotta establish her in the first chapter. I think the first set, and you've got to establish she's got her brood. She's got her own brood lineage, but she's the Eldrazi of corruption. She's biological as opposed to the other ones that are like physical and metaphysical. So. And I don't know what her lands would look like if they look like like freaking things out of Cthulhu-esque lore, like tentacled trees and things like that, which you could still see those in Magic. And right now I'm still going with that she's not on Innistrad, but the whole corruption, Avacyn going mad thing, it would fit to her MO, but I don't think she's on Innistrad. I really don't. But who knows? So, right now, those are the spoilers for the time being for Shadows over Innistrad. We're going to get more as the as the weekend goes on, because I love the way it's doing it. They're spoiling more cards, because the GPs are going on right now. So the more GPs that are won, the more cards get spoiled. So I might actually have one more video up like tomorrow or something like that. But I dig this. I dig it real hard. I love this. Is a great way of marketing before actual spoiler season starts next. Not this coming week. The following week starts on the 15th, I believe, and then the pre-release is the 2nd and 3rd of April, which works out great for me because I believe I'll have work off that day. Which I'm like, yes, I must go and play for the werewolves because fuck, I love vampires, but werewolves. I love werewolves, man. Werewolves are the shit. I'm also curious to see what the dragons in the set will look like because. Each set had a dragon. Each set in Innistrad had one dragon. Curious to see what the dragons are going to look like now. If they've gone mad, if they're maybe eating angels, that's going to be cool. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put it in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. So I've actually got my vlogs to do. I'm going to actually do those in a little bit. Yeah, same shtick as usual. I will have box office up tomorrow before I go to work, hopefully. And yeah, that's it. I love doing these Magic videos because there's just so much information, so much lore, so much stuff to talk about. Anywho, so thanks for watching. See you next time.